Okay.
Whoops.
All right. So try to turn that down a little bit. Jeez. All right. So this is my first podcast that I'm doing over YouTube. All right. So I have my brother here, Kyler. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Kyler. I don't think he's well prepared because I don't think we got sponsors, but
No sponsors. No sponsors. This is just for fun. I almost got a friend of ours, but I guess controversial topics could hurt his uh, career, so he decided not to join. Uh, so
and I'm down for anything.
right. Well, you're not gonna. Yeah, you don't have problems, being in the military. So, the first topic that I wanted to kind of quickly just touch on. Have you heard of this guy named Colin? Was it Kaepernick or something? The 49ers quarterback.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
So for any of you out there who may watch this video later, for those of you who don't know, he's the quarterback of the 49ers. He did not stand at attention when the national anthem came on before one of the preseason games. Okay, and it sparked this big controversy, and now he's got a lot of negative attention and whatnot. So the interesting thing is, being an American, I believe that everyone has the right to protest or, say what they want. Um, so it's one of those things where I believe he had the right not to do it if he did not want to. What do you think?
I guess you you have the freedom to do what you want, but it's America, so you kind of should have.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, he had the right, but he cannot be surprised if he's gonna be looked at negatively if he doesn't. So, if he doesn't support, the United States while he lives in the United States, it's a very, why are you here? But he has the right. He has the right, but he can't be upset when people are upset with him.
Um, yeah, people, everyone has everyone is entitled to their opinion. I guess that's why we live in a free country.
Absolutely. All right, so let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so another thing that it's interesting because he had an interview about why he did it, and his reasoning for it was he could not support a country, a flag that oppresses minorities, basically oppresses black people. He's referring to cops and the whole profiling and shootings and whatnot. And my response to this is the flag itself, the American flag, doesn't represent cops. It represents the 13 colonies, the 50 states, the people inside the whole country, and it represents the soldiers that have died for our freedoms. It doesn't represent police officers. So I feel like his protest is misguided. What do you think?
Invalid.
Yeah, invalid. Exactly. What do you think?
Yeah, Yeah, kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's just why.
And it's like we're talking about like the current flag, right?
Yeah, our current United States flag.
Yeah, it's not like it's like the one that everyone hates, the South flag,
Right. Yeah, and that's a whole nother topic. It's one of those things where I just feel like it's just misguided because I don't think he understands what the flag represents. So I think it's misguided. As much as he has the right, it's misguided in my opinion. Um, So he has that right to not do it, and I have the right to think less of him. So that's the way it is.
He's not winning a Super Bowl ring anyways.
No, he's not. And then to touch on that note, I guess after that he wore some socks that had like police officer pigs on his socks or whatever. So I guess that was protesting more than police. So that seemed more fitting. But I guess now the San Francisco Police Department won't host police officers for their games anymore until I don't know until what. I don't know if until he's gone or until he apologizes or what. But cops don't like him right now.
I just think it kind of tarnishes his career in the NFL. I don't really think he's, these celebrities, like once they get money and power, that it just goes to their head and they don't really think logically, and they just start throwing things around.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they want a public image, so even a controversial one sometimes they think it's a good one. People want attention, and when they're famous, they can get it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people going against cops these days.
Of course there are, and not to get too much on a tangent here, but the problem is it goes both ways. So when there is protests for example, Black Lives Matter, saying not all Black lives are bad, we're not all criminals, and that's very true. That's very true. It's the same thing with cops. There are racist cops, there are good cops. You can't combine all of them together. I will say though that sometimes that a good cop will know that another cop is not necessarily a good cop, a bad cop, or whatever, and may not say anything due to pressure of being a cop. That's the only thing I will say.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think in general, profiling people based on just anything is wrong.
Yeah.
There's bad of everything. There's bad cops, there's bad of every race.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, so that just goes to show that it's not a racial thing, it's not a job thing, it's just based on an individual person.
Yeah, and how they're raised. And
yep. Okay, let's see here. So as far as that is concerned, there's not a lot to say as far as what it is, because it's a pretty short story. It's probably going to blow over here in a week or two. People are going to forget about it. But if I were the 49ers or the owner or whoever's up in charge of the 49ers, I would definitely think, hey, this is kind of bringing bad publicity to my team. So that's definitely something that I think whoever owns the 49ers, whoever manages the 49ers should think about.
Yeah, and this has happened a lot through sports. If anyone's seen the LA Clippers controversy about their owner or their past owner.
I must have missed that. What's going on with that?
He basically, a lot of things were going on with it. If you guys want to look into it, he basically lost his whole Clippers team in the NBA because of a lot of bad stuff. But that's another topic.
Well, maybe I'll look into it, and maybe I can do that in a future podcast. Okay, so what do we got here? Got about 9 minutes in. I'm going to bring up another topic since it seems like not much to say about that much further. So I want to bring up just quickly, there's a lot of information that can go with this particular topic, but I just kind of want to touch on it quickly. basically want to just talk about the presidential nominees and the race. Uh, that being said, you don't have to say what political party you plan to vote for. You don't have to say any of that. I'm going to try to be very objective when it comes to this topic, even though I do have my own opinions. Um, in a nutshell, I think we have been dealt a horrible hand with the two nominees that we have. We have Trump, who's very loud, very offensive, and doesn't think about what he says. And some of his policies seem very, I would say, going backwards. Some would say racist, all that stuff. And then on the other side, we have Hillary Clinton, who is very much liberal, but does not care about any of our freedoms at all, that being the first, the second, and the rest of the amendments. Also, in at least my opinion, I believe she really is a criminal, considering they have evidence about it, but they will not prosecute. What do you think?
Just a quick thing. If you look at it objectively, who do you think, like regardless of any viewpoints, who do you think is going to win?
Hillary.
And what do you think, by what percentage?
I'm not sure the percentage. I think it's going to be further apart than the previous two elections with Obama and Mitt Romney and oh man, I'm forgetting who he ran against first.
I feel like if you like the economy right now and the way things are going, vote for Hillary Clinton, because she's going to be another similar to Obama's viewpoints.
I think, and that's somewhat true. Some of her policies may be better towards the economy, because I think our economy cannot afford to build a wall on Mexico right now. So, but my problem is I don't trust Hillary. I know where she stands on certain things. You know more than anything how pro Second Amendment I am, and I know she's very anti Second Amendment. But I believe that that's not the only one that she would infringe on. I think she would have problems with free speech. She hates the military. She treats Secret Service and military members like crap. So I don't think she's fit to be in office. And now that there's these scares that her health may be an issue, that I don't think she should be president. I don't think Trump should be president, but I don't think Hillary should be president either.
And that's really funny because you had the whole Bernie, Hillary, and Trump. They're all pushing 70. They all could die in office.
Right, and if you look at them, Trump is definitely probably the most spry of the three, I guess. Bernie being really old, and Hillary seems like she's having some health problems. And like I would love to see a third party win. I would love to see Stein or Johnson of the Libertarian and the Green Party. I would love to see them win. It's not going to happen because people are going to vote Republican.
They're not even going to be on a debate card.
I know, right? I don't know. It's one of those things where we are once again voting, I feel like, who's the lesser of two evils. And depending on your opinion, that'll change. But the lesser of two evils that we have is still a lot worse. Like, I would rather than these two win, I would rather go back to Obama. And
You'd rather go
I didn't. Yes, I would.
Wait, you said Obama or Romney?
Obama. I'd rather go back to Obama as opposed to having Trump or Hillary as president.
Well, I feel like Obama has. It's just like the status quo. Like, not a lot has changed, but I mean, we've got more debt nationally. I mean,
yeah, and it's one thing that he had the healthcare thing, That was his big movement. That it was his big success, so to speak. Um, and after that, he didn't do much. Nothing. His whole slogan, change, uh, never really happened after the healthcare. And Hillary's uh, position right now is she's going to be going after because it used to be that she wanted healthcare as well, but now her position is very much against the Second Amendment and to try to curb gun violence, so to speak. Bernie was free education, or at least affordable education, and the minimum wage increase. Trump's is very much on immigration, because that's his very biggest thing, illegal immigration anyway. But yeah,
the one thing that it bothers me, like, politicians always flip their position to try and get more voters, regardless of, they never stick to a position.
of course, especially during an election season, they're going to try to do what they can to win votes to become president. And then once they're president, they do what they can, and then they're a little bit. They usually abide by the people a little bit during their first term, but once they get elected their second term, they can't get elected again, so they can do what they want. They try to push whatever policies they want in their second term.
Have you like looked into any of their policies and their plans?
Yes, I have actually. I was just reading some.
Have you read their?
Which one?
Well, I'm a big economy person, so
Right.
I read all their tax plans and.
Right.
So, do you
right,
know
yeah.
them, or do you want me to?
So there's a couple of them that I was reading here, different on being whether there should be a flax tax on income. Let's see. Should the U.S. return to a gold standard in which coin and currency are backed by gold? Social Security to be privatized. There's several other ones. Lowering corporate income tax rates for great jobs, and I have all their positions on there. So I just kind of know a little bit of an overview. Did you have something specific you wanted to throw out?
Well, yeah. Well, their main tax plan. So Hillary, her tax plan basically, what I have read, is basically how the tax brackets are right now. To tax the richer just a little bit more. So she wants to add like a tenth or however many tax brackets we have. So bump it up like 5% for the rich. And Trump, he has just a 4 bracket, which is like 0, 10, 20, and 25.
Right.
So, which is crazy. Here's the crazy thing which I haven't talked about with a lot of people. Everybody that works a minimum wage job will not be paying taxes, at least on the federal level.
For who? On Trump's plan?
Yeah, for federally, he wants, for the first $25,000 you make, you pay 0%.
Interesting.
So that's pretty.
That's crazy, and it sounds good, but it's also one of those things where a lot of jobs right now are kind of in that area.
Yeah, and think how much, if you times everybody that's making 25,000 that isn't paying taxes.
Right.
That's
a
lot.
Yeah, it's funny because originally when this country was founded, it was founded because we are getting taxed by England, and the whole idea was not to be taxed by our own government. Realistically, we can't get rid of taxes because that would take away funding for so much that makes our country run. So we have to have taxes. We can't not have taxes. I personally think there should be a flat tax on income. It should be a specific percentage for everybody. Okay. And the reason I say that is because I don't think we should penalize people who become successful. Anybody who creates his own business, makes a lot of money, he gets the same percentage, so he's still paying more money into taxes, but he's paying the same percentage.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's what I think, and it's just one of those things where I feel like, the people who are successful should not be penalized for it. And I absolutely do agree that, when you get these big corporations who get these big tax breaks and, Wall Street and all that stuff, I don't agree with all that stuff. They should be taxed the same rate that I'm getting taxed.
See, I kind of have a different viewpoint. I believe at some point that the rich should pay more, but it should be their first millions taxed at the same percent. But then after that, there's like a second bracket.
Right.
So I believe
And
there
I'm
should be
not,
like two
yeah,
brackets.
yeah, and I'm not too against it. At a certain amount, then yeah. But because you have to look at it now. It's like, middle class is like over. I feel like it's considered over 100,000 now. Due to all the inflation and how much money our money is worth now, that rich is, you have to have more money to be considered upper class.
Yeah, that is crazy. Inflation. You look at just prices of food and everything's going up.
Yeah. So let's see here. How long have we been? Okay, we have about, I think we'll go 9 more minutes. So that being said, like I said, I would prefer a third party win. That's not going to happen. It just won't. So I listened to another podcast, and basically what he was saying was that if you're in a state, and this is assuming you're not happy with either side. If you're in a state where that's going to heavily lean one side, for example, you're in Oregon, it's going to heavily lean towards Hillary. It'd be a miracle if Trump won Oregon. If you're a person who doesn't want Hillary as president, what you do is you vote third party to try to build up that party. So eventually, third party can be an actual contender in future elections. If you're in a battleground state, which I guess I am, because I live in Colorado right now, you vote for the one that you'd rather win over the other. Which I'm not going to say who I'm going to be voting for, but I would much rather vote for a third party. But after I heard that, I may be reconsidering. So I don't know. We'll see.
Let me just ask you this: Do you think elections are fair in America?
No, I think the electoral vote is something we need to do away with and get the popular vote into elect the president.
Because there's a lot of people who said Bernie got screwed and he should have won the nomination.
Well, that too, yeah. There is, I guess there's evidence to it too, that it was somewhat rigged in the Democratic primaries, and I do not see why she is not in jail. I mean, it's one of those things where there's evidence, and they've stated that there's evidence for her crimes with the emails, for her issues with the primaries, yet she's still going because she's a Clinton. And Trump is just being a loud-mouth, offensive person, is what I'm going to say, since I don't want to say too many nasty things. But so
I don't think he has the temperament to be president, because
he has too much temperament.
Yeah, like imagine if like a foreign leader says something to him, and then what's he gonna do?
Right, I know, right? I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things too, where here's another thing that I do agree, and this is kind of playing advocate for Donald Trump. Um, I think that he will be limited in his power if he wins, because I think the Democratic Party will win the Senate and then they're going to win the House after that, especially if Donald Trump wins, because I think people aren't going to want Trump to have that much power. So I think he'll be limited in what he can do. And it'll be similar to what Obama had to face, where Republicans were just trying to block everything that he tried to do. But yeah, that's what I think. But I think if Hillary wins, it'll be the opposite. I think the Democratic Party has at least a solid chance of having both the Senate and the House. And I think if one party has the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that's too much power for one side.
But I mean, if you look back, Obama had all of those, and I mean, guns are still in America. I mean, he had the Senate,
Yeah.
the House.
He didn't have the House. He had the House was Republicans. It's just why.
In 08?
I believe so. Because that's why when they first, or maybe it wasn't 08, maybe it was, because he didn't press too hard with gun control in 2012 after the Sandy Hook shooting. So with that being said, he just had an uphill battle. Whereas I feel like Hillary knows it's going to be, her position is anti-gun. So, if you are pro-gun, having Hillary win and then the Senate, then the House, then you should worry. But that's on the gun side of things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's bad either way. We're gonna lose either way.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too, and unfortunately, that's kind of what we're stuck with, and it really sucks. This is probably one of the worst elections. I mean, I'm only 29. I've only voted in a couple elections, but it's the worst that I've ever seen. Like, I would take anybody in the past that has ran.
Yeah. What do you think of the whole build the wall thing?
Okay, so I don't think we should build a wall, and there are several reasons why. One, economically, it's not a good thing for us. We should not be spending money on a wall. Okay. The main reason most people say don't build a wall is because it's racist. Now, I've been watching some of Trump's speeches lately, and yes, he's loud. Yes, he's very aggressive, so he comes off very offensive. But if you actually listen to some of his speeches, it's not to keep out all like Mexicans, like everyone likes to say. Okay, it's mostly illegal immigrants. Now, we just have a particular high rate of Mexican illegal immigrants as opposed to anybody else, because Mexico's not particularly a country they want to stay in, I guess, so they want to come here. But so it's perceived as racist, and I don't think building the wall per se is racist. I just think it's just not a good idea.
Yeah, I can get on point with that. I think I'm actually just tired of the government spending money on stupid things.
Agreed. Yeah, it's one of those things where that's a lot of money, and we don't need to be spending a lot of money on something like that right now. And his one speech where he says, make Mexico pay for it. Well, that's not going to happen. That's just stupid and ignorant, and that's just going to piss people off. So that's not going to happen. Well, yeah, I think he needs to let that go, and he would be in a better position.
Yeah, I think when Trump first came out, I was all for him. But then as he just started saying stupid things, I'm like, he's not even that smart, really. It's not.
Well,
I don't.
go ahead.
He gets too. He has no emotions. Like if you say one thing about him, he'll throw like a fit, and then
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's one thing too to think about is that
I mean, doesn't the president has the power to send nukes off?
well, yeah, yes, but he can't just do it by himself. He needs Congress's um, permission and all that stuff. So it's not like he can just decide to use a nuke. There are checks and balances for that reason. Uh, but and yeah, when he first said that he was going to be joining the presidential race, I thought, hey, this is politicians out there. Let's get somebody else out in there. And then he started talking, and then it was like, oh, that's not good. But I don't know. I don't think he's as bad as everybody likes to make him, because a lot of people that don't like him are the younger generation who are very much PC, so to speak, or social justice warriors. So when you get somebody who's older, who's very uh, rough around the edges like that, um, especially the younger generation tends to be like, oh my God, this person's the devil, so to speak.
I think he came in with the wrong platform. He should have came in like with like talking about the economy and talking about how we're gonna fix the economy and how like you can't survive on minimum wage and talking
Yeah,
about like how you can get a better like get more education and better jobs.
yeah. So it's it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're stuck with one of them, unfortunately. Um, so yeah. Let's see here. Those are the two kind of topics that I kind of came up with for this short podcast. Is there anything that you ever wanted to talk about or bring up?
Mm, nah, I think
Really?
if we ever do another podcast, we'll be, this is just a test run.
This is being the first one. I'm doing a short one. I had a bunch of topics on there, but I'm going to be more in depth and see if I can get anybody else that wants to join in. Almost had Witty, but we decided not to. So maybe next time I'll do a non-controversial topic. Maybe video games or something, and then we can get somebody else in there that doesn't mind.
Actually, a cool podcast that we should do is I have to send you some links, but someone that I watched as a thing about conspiracy theories, just random things. It's
Yeah.
pretty,
Well,
because I got some
yeah,
cool ones.
well, that's fine. Yeah, we can definitely work that out. I'm going to try to do this like every weekend, and you know, as more people, hopefully, I can get more people to join in, and then people will watch and whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes, and I just wanted to start off with a couple topics that are that are hot right now, which those two came to mind.
Which everyone's gonna attack you for.
Probably, but I don't care. I'm not like I'm not like I'm very anti-Hillary. I will absolutely say that, but I am not in any way pro-Trump. So they can attack me if they want, if they like Hillary, but that kind of shows their character, so to speak.
I just think it's funny how like, regardless of anything, people are getting more like vicious. Like if you just have a viewpoint on anything, they will, instead of like having a civil debate, they'll just attack you and yell and.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I always am up for a debate, especially with a topic that I know very well. For example, firearms. And the problem is, I can come at you with facts and a civil debate and a calm demeanor. And then when somebody is losing a debate, they get loud and angry and try to overpower you. And
We
yeah.
hey, we should do a debate, and not to say it's my viewpoint, but I should do the opposite of like I'll go pro gun ban and you go anti gun bander.
Well, we can try that, or we'll see if anybody's listening out there. If I love gun debates. It's something that I enjoy doing. So if anybody does watch this and you are anti-gun, um, feel free to message me on YouTube, on Facebook, that you'd love to debate with me, as one of these topics. And Kyle, you can be whatever side you want, or you can be a middleman or whatever. And as long as it's civil, as long as you're respectful, we can have a debate, because I won't belittle you. I won't, or anything like that. So if anybody out there is willing to do that, please let me know, because I would love to do it.
Yeah, I'd be down to do that because, especially like researching the opposite viewpoint, you're a lot less, you get more factual because you're not invested on that side.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can look up. I do look up the opposing arguments and their facts too. That gives me my ability to be able to rebuttal against it and know what you're going to come at me with, and then I can get my facts straight.
All right, it's going down next week.
All right, yeah. So if anybody wants to do it, please let me know, or let Kyler know, and we'll do it. And if not, then he will play the anti-gun person. So.
Are you down
All
to go
right.
the other side, or the
Am I
viewpoint
down?
that guns are?
Am
Yeah.
I down? That would be hard
Yeah.
for me, because as much as I could know the other person's parties, I can be objective, and I can throw out both sides. But I know too much on the subject for me to truly debate against them. I can offer the arguments, and I can respect them, and I can see where they're coming from. But if I know something that disproves that, or facts that take away from that, it's hard for me to say that.
All right. Well, I'll research and I'll have some good points because I could already think some off the top of my head.
All right. Well, we'll do this next week again then. We can shoot for Saturday again. After I get off work, around the same time, if that works for you.
Yeah.
You usually have Saturdays off?
It varies week to week, so.
Varies week to week. Okay. So we'll figure it out then. But like I said, if anybody else wants to chime in, whether you're pro-gun or anti-gun, we can have multiple people on this, and we can debate this. We can actually do this. I wasn't intending to do a gun podcast for a while, but yeah, if you want to be in on this, then let me know, and we'll get it together. I do this through Google Hangouts, so make sure you have a Google Plus account and the Hangouts app if you want to do this.
Don't be like me last minute. Oh.
Well, it's all right. We were still trying to figure out. It took me forever to figure out how to do it through Google Hangouts, to get to YouTube, and to put it on Facebook. So it took me a while to figure it out.
All right.
So this is a test run. So we'll get that going next week. If you have any other ideas, like if you have a topic out there that you want us to discuss too, we can definitely do that on another podcast, or if we make next week's a little longer, we can definitely touch up on other subjects as well. So let us know either here at US Minuteman at YouTube, or I have it posted on my Facebook. So let me know in those comments as well.
All right. See ya.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a good day.